annual disaster preparedness fair in the Valley. We are at Fire Station 87 in Granada Hills.
We're no strangers to natural disasters here in the Northwest Valley, and that's why I want to thank, he's not around here, but somewhere walking around furiously is Bill Hopkins. And if we can all have a big round of applause for Bill Hopkins, because he organizes this event for us every year. Here's Bill. Bill wants me to make a couple announcements about today's things.
The fair started about 8 years ago with several neighborhood councils getting together, wanting to keep the community appraised of how to prepare for a disaster. As we know, it's not if, it's when. And the only way you can deal with the issue is to be prepared. Preparedness makes you less afraid. It reduces the chance of injuries, the severity of injuries, help reduce property damage. That's what the fair is all about. Everything at the fair is free, including admission, parking, all the exhibits. We have roughly 27 neighborhood councils that will be represented here this year. That's an increase of almost 300% from last year.
A lot of people don't know what a neighborhood council is, so when at an event like this where we have so many people coming, over 1,000 people coming, and lots of neighborhood councils, they can get an in-person view of what does a neighborhood council do, how we're the liaison between the residents and the city hall and all the city services. So it's a good way to educate people on neighborhood councils and get them involved. Maybe they want to run, or maybe they have a street problem or a garbage problem or something, and now they know they can reach out to the neighborhood council and be directed or get help on getting their city services directed to them.
Hey there, students! I'm Yogi, your smarter than the average earthquake prepared bear, and you're in my winky shaking schoolhouse. I'm here to help you be ready should old Mother Nature get unsteady. Ready? Hang on. That shook me up pretty good. How about you kids? That's what an earthquake kind of feels like.
We have a disaster relief field kitchen that we can cook for anywhere from 500 to 4,000 people. And today at the fair, what's really neat for us is that this is a disaster exercise for us. For you, it's a fair, but for us, it's an actual exercise. So we're actually training our people. We're actually going through the same processes we would do in an actual disaster, working here today. So it's just, what it is the Lord's blessed us with teamwork, training, and experience, and we're putting it all together to help and bless the community.
That question is, you think you're prepared, and some of us are like, yeah, you know, I think I am, but maybe I could do more. We can always do more.
The younger generations, you know, we have the Gen X and Y and Z now, but the truth of the matter is that they kind of grew up in the technology phase, so they are a little bit more comfortable probably with scanning documents, putting them on a USB drive, putting them in the cloud so that they're available anywhere. And that's great because they're not uncomfortable with that. For those of us, though, who didn't grow up in that era, and we're a little leery of doing things like that, we can make copies, photocopies, and we can put them in Ziploc bags and put them into our go bags or our disaster kits so that we have that. And if you had to go and speak with FEMA about getting a loan or reimbursement, that is one of the first things that they will ask for. And when I say documents, we're talking about the deed to your home, your insurance papers, your declarations, your passport, any birth certificates, any of those things. That's what we should be thinking about.
And if your clothes begin to blaze, don't you lose control. Just stop, drop and roll. That's right, you just stop, drop and roll. I said stop, drop and roll. drop and roll. Yeah, stop, drop and roll. Well, let's all make fire safety be our goal. You just stop, stop, drop and roll. You understand what I'm saying to me?
Well, hot dog is hot dog.
We just started feeding about 2,000 people here, and we have a system in place. The system is working fine. Everybody's getting food. Everybody seems happy. So we're cooking good, safe, wholesome food for people here at the fair. And it's a good disaster exercise for us because it gives us the experience for cooking for large numbers of people. So this is a win-win situation for us.
3, 4, 5. And then put your hand down and turn them over.
Right, it worked. It worked.
And nothing in the mouth, so don't sweep. And then put them down and put your fingers, remember where I showed you right about here?
I don't know if I should do my knuckles.
Oh, you could do that. You could do knuckles, but do your knuckles. Turn your hand this way if you can. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and still nothing?
You can't be afraid to push hard.
Yeah, you got to push hard. Good.
And that's about in the middle between...
It's just below that line. Yeah, right there. We call it the lower half of the breastbone.
Hey guys, how are you?
And if it comes out, they'll start crying. You saved their life.
So on behalf of Congressman Sherman, I'd like to present this flag that was flown over our nation's capital to the Valley Disaster Preparedness Team, Southern California Preparedness Foundation, President Bill Hopkins. Thank you very much.
We have formed the Valley Disaster Preparedness Team, whose sole purpose is to put on and coordinate the event. We started about February to start planning on this with a smaller group. It's branched out to a larger group as the fair gets closer. We probably have 30 or so volunteers that are working in various capacities, anywhere from getting other volunteers to help us. Today, distributing the kits, managing the event. You'll see people walking all over the place with vests on, looking crazy. That's the staff that's making this all put on for you. You would be amazed at the amount of work that it takes and the volunteer hours to put this kind of event on, and we're very appreciative of everyone that's contributed and chipped in for this.
Typically the meter, when the knob here is aligned with the pipe vertically, there's natural flow there. There's flow going there. Now, say there's an emergency, now you have to shut it off manually. Well, you want to grab your wrench and you want to turn it about 90 degrees to a point where the knob is now 90 degrees. It's vertical. Excuse me, let me turn it a little bit more. And now there is no flow now. Now you're safe. Now you wait for us to come back. You give us a call. We come back to your house. We inspect the meter. We inspect the other utilities that use gas to make sure there aren't any other leaks. Then we shut it. We turn it back on and we go back to business.
The other thing is translucent, so if you put it up, you would get some protection from the sun. So you might make a shelter out of it. Go ahead and put a hole in it. You have
And the thing that I try to bring to the table here, the emphasis is to try to let people know it's not just food and water, even though you've got to have those in preparation, but you need to understand the importance of having an engaged mind so you can think clearly what your highest priorities are, the things you have to solve, in what order you have to solve them, and then the importance of getting a good, adequate shelter for you and your friends. We're lucky because we're in the LA area where the weather doesn't hurt like it does in a lot of other places. But when the weather is sour or it becomes night or cold, it's much more difficult for people to deal with the conditions. Maintaining 98.6 degrees is a really important thing to do, and we're used to doing it through switches and dials by keeping our environment at home around and our car around 70 degrees Fahrenheit in our offices. When that breaks down, all of a sudden, how are we going to do it? And we talk about the concept of sheltering. The other thing, just wilderness survival skills, where my background has come from, The wilderness survival skills can play a big role in understanding even how to something as basic as building a fire that's adequate for your needs, for whatever the needs are for your local community here post-disaster. And then also signaling rescue, getting water, finding sources of water, sanitizing the water so it's potable for you. Can you really get out of your toilet? Can you get it out of mud puddles? Where are the contaminated sources? And once you do find them, how do you treat that water? And so the session I did today was very short. It's only half an hour, so we just really talked about shelter and setting priorities post any survival situation that you're into from that. So, but I think that self-sufficiency, this adds another level to the self-sufficiency goal that these folks obviously have.
I think this is probably the best attended event we've had so far, and the involvement from the community, from the neighborhood councils and the nonprofits has been amazing, and we see a lot of family people out here, a lot of people bringing their children out, teaching kids about being safe and safe in emergency situations. So this is a great event, and we hope to do it for many years to come.
We always say it's not a matter of if, it's when. Because we will have a disaster here in Southern California.
We had the gas company, we had Red Cross, we had a plethora of organizations all educating Valley people on how to deal with earthquakes and how to be prepared. And everybody had a great time, and it was just a wonderful day and a nice lunch, and everybody had a great time.
Thank you very much for the flag. It is certainly welcome. And as it happens, the emergency communication trailer, which is at the end of the parking lot or the east end of the station, we're going to go there now and run it up the flagpole.
Bill and I met through the CERT program. I did a program for him out in Granada Hills, and here's a guy who, again, I'm going to say it just like myself, when you find people who have passion and that are really truly passionate about preparedness, they are tireless in giving of their time to put together, and in this instance, this fair, Bill's been involved in this fair I believe since the beginning, but this year it's his. He really was instrumental in putting all of this together, getting everybody who you see out here today. Although this is going on right now and it ends at 2 o'clock, he won't be done until probably 10 o'clock tonight, and tomorrow hopefully he'll be able to put his feet up and relax a little bit. But again, kudos to Bill, because this is hard work. It really is.